For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Streamed and Screened, an entertainment podcast about movies and TV from Lee Enterprises. I'm Terry Lipshetz, managing editor of the National Newsroom at Lee and co-host of the program with Bruce Miller, editor of the Sioux City Journal and a longtime entertainment reporter. And it's still a little chilly outside. I know the weather's not quite where it needs to be in some places, but we're kind of getting into summer season of sorts.
If you look at any of the movies that are coming out now, they all have at least one or two summer film previews attached to them. And you go, oh, I'm kind of excited. Now, by the time they actually come, we'll probably go, ugh, I don't want to see that thing. I've seen too much of it in previews. But there are one, I think this year more than any recently, there are a lot of ones that people will anticipate. I think recent years, it's been like maybe one or two that you cared about. But this year is almost like a reset for them. And we're seeing a lot of big franchises that will have some kind of presence this summer. Come on, Superman's back. And he's bringing a dog with him. Oh, so boy. The dog is going to be the huge thing there. There is a new Superman, by the way, David Cornsweet, who was in that Hollywood miniseries that was done on TV. And he looks like Superman. He has that same kind of look. He's younger than Henry Cavill, so as a result, he gets the suit. I have somebody I talked to who's in it. Wendell Pierce plays the editor of the newspaper. And he says, you won't believe how much money they've spent on this thing. It's huge. So Superman could make a big comeback. But then the one I'm actually waiting for is Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Because they're really redoing the whole concept. And this is apparently, little did we know, there was an island where they tested dinosaurs.
Of course.
And, right? And so we need to go look at that island and find out what we can learn from them, because some of their DNA could help us solve medical issues in today's world. So they have a new team led by Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey from Wicked, who are going to go there and play around with the dinosaurs.
Okay. I had heard that she practically begged into doing a Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
That she had been reaching out, like, and I guess when the last one was filming, it was on a soundstage near whatever film she was working on at the time. And I guess got to go on. I had heard something about this or read a story and was able to get on set briefly to check out what was going on and just like really wanted to be a part of this. But I'm fascinated by this too, because I've long been a fan of both the original series, but I also thought some of the more recent movies were pretty good. They a little bit hit and miss here and there, but I thought by and large a good extension of the original film series.
Well,
but it has that type of storyline where it feels like now's a good time to branch out. There's other aspects to that universe that you can explore because these dinosaurs are everywhere now.
They're doing a new theme park in Orlando. Universal has a new one. I think it's called Epic Adventures. And in one of the areas is a big Jurassic Park world, whatever you want to call it, area. And I think until they actually make that theme park that we saw in the second bunch of films, we're not going to be happy. I really do want to go to a theme park with a bunch of dinosaurs. I think it'll be a cool kind of experience, but we'll see.
Now that Superman movie, I don't know if I'm gonna.
You're not there?
I don't know, because I've always enjoyed. I've never been so much the Marvel kind of person, but I don't mind the Superman and the Batman, the DC ones. But my problem with those is it always feels like a hard reboot. We do a few movies, and then all of a sudden it's done, and then we bring back another, we recast Superman, and then we just kind of start over, like, oh, he comes to Earth, and here's his dad, and he was adopted, and he joins a newspaper, and
Yeah.
and all that, with like the 007 franchise. You think about it, really, up until they brought in Daniel Craig, they never really rebooted. Like the Daniel Craig James Bond was more of a firm reboot, where they brought in a younger Bond who was kind of still learning the ropes of being a secret agent. Whereas they kind of went, Sean Connery, and then we go to Roger Moore, then we go to Timothy Dalton, then we go to Pierce Brosnan. And it's just kind of, it's just a story after story after story. It's not this, like, we have to retell everything from the beginning. Yeah, and that's what kind of drives me nuts with these Batman and Superman reboots. It's constantly like, we're back from square one again, and let's just recast the role and keep moving the story forward.
You're absolutely right. They need to move on, because I don't need to see Batman's parents get killed one more time. And I don't need to see are they aunt and uncle, or what are they? The people living on the farm. I don't need to see them suddenly have problems that Superman needs to kind of shore up.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it. You've got to, these actors, they hit a point where you're just too old to be that role anymore. You get cast when you're 35, 40, so be it. But once you're 55, 60, you can't go running around in spandex in a cape anymore. You gotta.
Where's the Social Security office?
Right. I mean, Daniel Craig was looking kind of beat up by the time he did the last Bond movie. So it's like, it's time to go on, and that's fine. We're all good with that. It just seems like the hard reboots kill me with those.
Yeah. Well, and maybe they will have something different. Maybe it will be.
Yeah. We'll see.
A new take, but they need to move on, and they could start with a new Superman in a new world that's after that world.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a dictator somewhere that you want to take down, or
Yep.
It could be good. Okay, but there are other interesting kind of films that are going to be out there. They're bringing back. I know what you did last summer. That whole crowd of people. If you maybe remember Freddie Prinze and Jennifer Love Hewitt and all those people, they're back, but they're old. So it's not like, it's the young version of these kids running away from a guy with a hook. It's the old versions. So that could be interesting. There's another one called Clown in a Cornfield. And this is about some small town where they have this, what they thought was a friendly clown, and he's not.
Like a Pennywise, but
I think it could be. Yeah, I think it could be. I think it could be another Children of the Corn. So Clown in a Cornfield. Look for that. It could be interesting. And then they've done a thing with John Wick. Now you may remember, spoiler alert, John died. But they were making money like it was, what can I say? They were printing the money. That's how much they were making. And they have to keep them alive somehow. So they're going back to one of those films in the middle and taking a character from that, and then they're able to tell a side story.
Mm-hmm.
So we can still have Keanu Reeves, but he won't be the main star of it. It's called Ballerina.
Okay.
And it's got a big old buildup, too. It's like John Wick, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. So from the world of John Wick could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
Garbage Man,
Yeah. Right. And that's not something that the Fast and Furious series kind of did that a little bit, where some of those characters died, and it turns out either they didn't die or something else happened, or they did, not all those movies were in sequential order either. So they were able to, other than Paul Walker, who died in real life.
But they brought him back too.
Yeah. You can have him a little bit just through.
We're all going to have a dinner and remember him. And then they all sit around and they show clips from the old shows. And, remember him? He was so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how they try and get those things back. I loved How to Train Your Dragon. I really did like it as an animated film. I don't know how it's going to work as a live action. And again, here's another one that they're doing a whole theme park area at Universal in Orlando for How to Train Your Dragon.
Yep.
So these are kind of jump starting each other.
Mm-hmm.
So one exists, and you know that there'll be a Shrek movie next year because they
Right.
got a Shrek land that they're pushing. So I think there's synergy, if that's the term
Yep.
we want to use. And it
Sure.
will be interesting to see how that looks. It could be a very good way of continuing on. Same way with Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is one of the most popular merchandise characters at the Disney parks. And they have to figure out how they can do that. So they're doing a live action version.
Yeah, and Snow White is coming out like now, right?
And it's out. Yeah, it's this week.
Yeah.
And it has gotten great reviews.
Okay.
Even though it had all that kind of bad blood about it, it was like, oh God, no. Is this thing going to be buried on Disney Plus somewhere? And it's not. It's going to be big. They've written new songs. The people who did Dear Evan Hansen wrote some new songs. Rachel Ziegler is apparently just incredible as Snow White.
Okay.
Gal Gadot is the evil queen, and she's getting rave reviews. So we'll see what happens. But that kind of gives fuel to that old fire that I don't like. Disney doesn't need to always remake everything they do.
Right.
And they do. They'll do an animated film, then they'll do a live action version of it. Then they'll do a kind of a hybrid of it, and then they'll go back to another animated one. And it's like, how much can you do?
Right. I have not been thrilled with the live action versions of the animated movies so far. I saw The Lion King and it was just like, it's okay. I don't love it. Even the one they did,
Mufasa. It was Mufasa.
Right. That it was like, it's okay, but I would have actually rather had this as an animated movie. I don't want this live action. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious about it. My family, we were talking a little bit. Maybe we'll go see Snow White this weekend. The ones in the past, I haven't been able to get into them. I love the originals, and it just feels odd to redo them as a live action film. But we'll see.
Years ago, they used to have a 7-year track that every 7 years they would reissue the films. So if you were, whatever year you were in that cycle, you would get whatever their big movie was from 7 years earlier.
Right.
And that's how you grew to love them. Well, then they became, a big VCR and then DVD and all those other kind of, and it just was chaos. And so now they have to try and figure out a new way to make money off them, and that's what they're doing.
Yep.
Song of the South, however, probably will not be remade.
That one will never be. That one has been buried. I don't even know. I don't you can't watch that anywhere. I don't think that's on Disney Plus. They haven't put it out on. I will see occasionally. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but on places like Facebook Marketplace and other places where you can kind of sell illicit materials, they'll sell bootleg copies of Song of the South on Blu-ray. Somebody basically ripped it off a VHS tape or something, and now they're selling them for $10 a pop on a Blu-ray that you can buy. But yeah, that's one of those. It's just probably for the better.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll be seeing that one, but
no.
Who knows? Are you a big Minecraft person?
I'm not much of a gamer. I think my kids play Minecraft a little bit. I'm kind of mildly intrigued by this just because Jack Black is in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're looking at the Lego movie as kind of their model, but I don't
Mario
know.
Brothers.
Yeah, I don't know if people are that interested in it to see if it's,
I kind of think that this is an attempt to build on the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie of 2 years ago.
Sure.
Which took, people and they had this huge screen and it did shockingly well. Like I remember one of my daughters wanted to see it. And like, really? You want to see Mario Brothers? I'll go take you see it. I'll go sit through it. I don't care. And we got there and we were blown away by how good it was.
Yeah.
That was animated.
Sonic is another one that's been doing well.
So these video games have a built-in fan base, and I think you can grab those folks. But I also think that with some of these games too, There's a nostalgia factor. So if you can hit on the right generations, so like Minecraft wasn't my game,
Sure.
but I think there's enough people who are a bit younger than me who are adults who are into Minecraft that I think you could appeal to them as well as the newer generation that's playing.
And the parents that get harangued by their children saying, I want to play Minecraft.
Right. Exactly.
So they probably know something about it. And then the Smurfs are back.
Yep.
So, you know, can't you just see a song in there by Pharrell or whatever?
Yeah.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Wow.
What's up?
I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It'll
Justin
be a
Timberlake, who knows?
Smurfy good time, you know?
Yeah, it could be good. And then, you know, we're finally getting the end of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Allegedly.
And I don't remember how it ended.
So I'll let you know in a couple weeks. So my kids actually wanted to see all the Mission Impossible movies. So we've watched 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've got like 3 more to go. I still haven't seen Dead Reckoning. That's, I think, the only one I haven't seen. The one before it, I can't remember if I saw it or not. The one in 2018. But we just watched Ghost Protocol, so we've got a couple more to go, and then we'll watch Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is no longer Dead Reckoning Part 1 because they
switched everything.
Right, but the what I've read is, even though they're calling this the final reckoning,
he's still making more.
He's making more.
Yeah,
they're gonna keep making this until he can't.
It's the end of this, whatever the thing was. And I know it had like voices that were doing things, and it was like AI stuff, and there was a train that was kind of hovering over a thing, and they were hanging from it. These are the things I remember. Now that was just a couple of years ago, and I can't for the life of me remember how it ended. So maybe I have to do a quick look too.
I think this is an opportunity too, though, if they're smart, because that series, it's done very well. It's got this now built-in audience. I mean, a lot of people call it the American James Bond franchise, spy franchise. So here's an opportunity. You know, Tom Cruise, he's in his 60s now. He can't keep doing this role forever. You could keep him on and put him into, like, hey, you know, if he gets to that point where he just can't physically do these movies anymore, turn him into the director or whatever.
Sure.
And bring in, because it's not like the 007 with James Bond where you're specifically tied to a character of James Bond. Right. You know, Ethan Hunt basically replaced a guy from a TV series of a different name. So you could do this with this and just have Ethan Hunt move into a management role, right? And then
or you could have somebody kidnap him.
Yeah.
And then a new team has to try and get him, and then you could just see him kind of squirming in a chair. Wouldn't that work? And then you get these new people that are out there trying to find him and search for him.
Yeah, I would very much like this series to continue, because I think for the most part, the movies have been pretty good, at least for an action standpoint kind of movie.
They're good when you watch them.
Yep.
But when it's after that, it's like, do I remember it? No.
no, I've forgotten every one of these when, other than, when I'm going back, like, oh yeah, that's how that one went. But
You should take notes.
Yeah.
When you're doing this rewatch.
yeah, but the kids are loving them. They enjoy watching them, and I'll be happy to see this. I'll keep on going, and I would like the franchise to continue. I like it a lot.
Okay, did you ever see Megan? That was the doll, the creepy doll that was kind of life-size that caused a lot of trouble and was killing people like crazy.
I didn't watch it. I know the movie. I know the creepy doll. Yeah.
She's back. She's
Right.
2.0. She's been upgraded, and she can do more things. So we'll see what happens. Some of the people from the first film are still in it. I'm sure it's going to be a huge hit. Huge hit. Because those go over well during the summer, and kids are the ones who go to the films.
Right.
But okay, then we've got to look at the kind of Marvel universe a bit, because we've got Thunderbolts, and Thunderbolts is one, and this is one you'll see in the theaters now, previous for this, where they're kind of leftovers or villains, or it's a mishmash of characters that are from other Avenger films who are told that they've got to now be the Avengers. They've got to be the people that are out there doing the thing. And they don't really get along. They don't like their name. They don't like to be called the Thunderbolts. That's why I think there's an asterisk in the title. I think we did not approve of this title, I think. And I think it goes for a little more humor than what past Marvel films have done.
Okay.
And then there's the Fantastic Four First Steps. And how many times have we seen Fantastic Four? Too many times. I'm tired of them, but they've got new actors. We're going to see what's going to happen, and we'll see where they go with it. In the previews, they look very retro. So maybe that's their gig, is that they're not going to be the fresh boys, in 2028 clothing. They're going to be the old guys in 1960s stuff. So interesting. There are a number of kind of, what I would call, they used to be called Merchant Ivory films that are very kind of, for lack of a better term, masterpiece theater kind of stuff. Okay. And they've got a few of those dripping around. There's a Romeo and Juliet that's kind of hanging in there. There's a Pride and Prejudice that's out there. So they've got things that are for that audience, if you're looking for that. And then we've got Ben Affleck's back as the accountant.
Right.
Just when you needed your taxes done, he's back.
He's back.
And there was another one that was just like that. So, there's a new Disney film, a new animated film called Elio, and that's kind of futuristic. We've got a Wes Anderson film called The Phoenician Scheme, and I have absolutely no clue what it's about, but that's the way Wes Anderson rolls. And he's got Tom Hanks, so he's bringing him back.
Okay.
Scarlett Johansson and Jeffrey Wright.
Interesting.
And they're all back in this. So I don't know if it has a relationship to a past film or if it's a whole fresh thing or what.
Okay.
But he's always interesting for that crowd, if you will.
Yeah.
People that are looking for those kinds of stories. 28 years later follows 28 days later and 28 weeks later, where there was this virus that was like infecting everybody. Well, 28 years, that they probably wiped out a lot of them. And some of those people are back. But Cillian Murphy, who was in one of the originals, is back. So if the guy who won an Oscar last year is willing to do this again, I think there could be something there. So you see on this summer, I think this summer is filled with a lot of stuff that, I'm interested in. At least I know that there will be popcorn films. I will be able to sit there and enjoy the popcorn. You probably haven't even gotten your popcorn bucket refilled yet, have you?
We have the bucket. We do have the 2025 bucket, but I'm not sure we've seen anything since New Year's Day, because that's when we got it. We went to see Wicked or something, right around, whatever was big right around that time. But yeah, we haven't been to the movies since, I don't think. But which other one I'm kind of interested in? This is one of those nostalgia flicks for Terry.
Yeah.
Karate Kid.
Well, see, look, we had Cobra Kai, and that filled up all this stuff. And now it kind of is where the Karate Kid is being the mentor, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And it could work.
Yeah. I need to finish off, because I always hate it when they split up seasons into, here's 5 and then 5 more and then 5 more after that. Just give me all either make it once a week for 10 weeks and then I'll just kind of do it that way, or just dump them all at once. But don't do this like, dump 5 and then make me wait 2 months and then dump 5 more. So I kind of waited. I started watching. I waited until 2 dumps of Cobra Kai came out with the last season. So I think I'm halfway through this final season, but I still have to watch the last few episodes of that second dump plus the remainder to close out the series. But I've enjoyed that series for the most part. It's exactly what I expected it to be. Completely stupid. It's I mean, it is. It's funny.
Well, that's what we want, right?
That's what we wanted, because that's, you got Johnny and Daniel kind of getting back together, and it's been fun, and I've kind of enjoyed it. But it's not this current season or the most recent season, but the one before it, that penultimate season, if you want to call it that. It was not good. I felt like we had just jumped the shark at some point. And the other part is all these high school kids, they're in their mid-20s now, and they're looking at they there's not a single one of them that I go like, yeah, you kind of have that baby face, so you sort of look like a high school. No, all of these kids look like they are adults. They're not.
They're like those Riverdale kids.
I like the idea. I always thought that the movie series was good. Some of the movies better than others, obviously, but I always thought it was kind of a fun concept, and I like the idea of Ralph Macchio being sort of that Miyagi type of character now, as long as you're not going to be the main character trying to kick, another 50-something, 60-something plus guy.
Your Tom Cruise reboot. This is how you can have him be the teacher and not necessarily the student. But yeah, wax on, wax off. Let's see if it happens,
I don't know about you, but I think I'm excited about the summer movie season.
You remember last summer where we were going, are we getting anything? And it would be like 3 weeks and we'd get a movie, and then it'd be another kind of dry spell. But I think now, since we're post COVID, they've had a chance to do some things, get some movies out there, and we should have a pretty full summer where every weekend will be a new kind of thing. So I hope anyway. But I'm predicting that Jurassic Park reboot thing is going to be big.
Yep.
I think it's going to be one of the big of the summer. And I do think F1 will be big. Those are my 2 picks.
I'm looking forward to that one too. I think that could be, I'm not a, it's funny is I'm not a race person. I don't watch NASCAR or Indy or any of those things, but I've enjoyed, Days of Thunder, Ford versus Ferrari. I think those make good stories.
And racing is always fun to watch.
There's action to it.
Yeah.
Built in realistic action.
And they can cut out those long periods where you have to actually, when you go to a race, sit and wait. Well, somebody has to get new tires or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that here.
Right. Exactly. We get it. It's a series of left turns or right turns or whichever way they're going. But, that's why the road races are always the best, because they get to go both left and right.
Oh, they get to go everywhere.
The Grand Prix, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so but I'm hopeful for the summer. I hope that, and like I say, you'll be seeing now in the theaters a lot of these previews. You go, well, this doesn't come till August, but that's what we're getting. It's kind of priming the pump before we get there.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of good stuff going on. All right, well, there you go. There's your summer blockbuster preview, or summer just preview in general. Maybe not so much in the way of blockbusters in the traditional sense, but hey,
hope.
we're
giving you hope for the summer.
We're giving you hope. It's what, 50th anniversary of
Jaws,
which was like the first, like what we consider to be summer blockbuster movie. So I think this is a good mix for the Jaws anniversary.
Terry, you weren't around for that when Jaws first premiered, but
no, my mom was pregnant.
I was there. I went to Jaws in the theater, and it was so packed you couldn't get in. I mean, this was where you'll take that front row or one of those back side seats that you think it's broken. I can't sit in this seat because you wanted to see it. And it was one that you would go again because we didn't have any other way to see the film another way. Right. And it was so bizarre. Now, when you watch it now, you go, oh, kind of slow. The shark looks fake. all those things are really kind of weird. But for the 50th anniversary, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Museum is doing a huge tribute to Jaws. And you'll see, in addition to Bruce, who's hanging over the staircase, there's a whole exhibit of all the stuff from there. So if you happen to be in Los Angeles, go see it, because it was the first, and everybody admits it. And after that, summer changed drastically.
Yep.
And we had to have these big movies every year that would kind of get you back in the seats.
Yeah. I'm a little excited too, because my daughter, one of my daughters, who's pretty into the sci-fi movies like I am, she wants to see the Alien franchise, because I've been talking it up to her as like, it's a little scary, but it's a good franchise. But then she came out and said she wants to see Jaws, which I didn't even know if she was really aware of it. But I'm like, yes, we are gonna go.
We are so going to Jaws.
We are gonna watch Jaws. I'll bust out the DVD, and then that ends, like late in the movie when they're on the boat and the captain's giving his speech, and then bam, it's just one of the great moments of cinema history.
Well, and there's a play that's out there about shooting that scene where they're in the boat. And it was on Broadway for just a brief period of time, but it'll be in regional theaters around the country. And I'm sure because of the timing, you'll see it somewhere. But yeah, so that's the movies to look forward to. Next week, I want to talk TV shows, because I have been riding through a whole bunch of them. I have seen the end of The Pit. I have seen the end of a little thing called White Lotus. I have seen the start of Hacks. And there's a new thing called Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm.
Oh, right.
John Hamm is working like way too much, I think.
He is everywhere.
Yeah. And so there are a lot of ones that I want to talk about, if you will. And that next week we're going to TV.
Wow. And what's also popping up, and we'll see, you'll catch my reaction when we talk, or the week after, the final episode, season 2 of Severance.
Okay. You're on, because I have not watched it all this year. So you're telling us all about what happened.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks again for listening, and tune in again next week for another episode, Streamed and Screened.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.